Living the Mediterranean dream.
It's a quirky way of doing things.
That's Dubrovnik.
The service up here is lovely.
We're Craig and Kirsty, a British couple who planned for years to travel the world before finally quitting our jobs and leaving everything behind on March the 1st, 2020. Much like everyone else that year, we soon realised we weren't going to get very far, so we stayed put for 6 months in Estonia, where we ended up making front page news in their national newspaper, Adriatic, and even ended up on their national TV show, Ring Vardé. After finally making it to a few more European countries, we made the decision to head back to the UK, where we waited patiently to start our travels again. Now we're finally exploring a brand new country.
We are here today outside the Old Town walls in Dubrovnik. This is the 16th century Old Town and it's been made famous in recent years because it's the setting for King's Landing in the popular TV show Game of Thrones. So we stood outside one of the 3 gates this morning and this is called Pil Gate. So come with me, I'm going to show you around the 16th century Old Town.
As you enter through the outer and inner Pil Gates, which is now the main and therefore quite busy entrance to Dubrovnik Old Town, you'll walk over a stone drawbridge, which has replaced the original wooden drawbridge. You'll see views of the gate's adjoining fortifications and walls. You'll also see this sculpture of St. Blasius, who was named the patron saint of Dubrovnik, as legend has it that back in the year 971, he warned the city of a surprise attack coming from the Venetians. Thanks to Blasius, the gates were closed, and so the Venetians lost their element of surprise, heaved up their anchors, and left without attack. For those of you visiting with wheelchairs or pushchairs, this entrance is perfect, because as well as the steps, it has an accessible ramp for all that leads straight onto the Stradon, the Old Town's main promenade, where it's possible to reach one of the 3 access points to the city walls. Visitors can walk around the 13th century Old Town walls, which takes around 2 hours and costs 200 kuna per person. The original Old Town was built between the 11th and 17th centuries. The remarkable preservation of the neatly contained Dubrovnik Old Town Centre is the result of meticulous reconstruction after the earthquake of 1667. Today, all new work is strictly controlled, right down to the shade of green used on the shutters of the buildings in the Stradon.
Dubrovnik Old Town has been on the list of UNESCO World Heritage Sites since 1979. Unfortunately, just 30 years ago, back in '91, it was bombed by the Yugoslav army, the Serbs and the Montenegrins during a conflict between the nations. Thankfully today it's been restored to all its glory, and as you know it makes for a great set for movies and TV series.
The cats within the Old Town remain completely unfazed by how busy these streets are, as this one perfectly demonstrates for us. Although Dubrovnik has much to offer in terms of historical sightseeing, part of the Old Town's allure lies in the fact that it's still a lived-in city, vibrant and bustling with locals whose homes line the narrow streets and sunlit squares. We'd be lying if we didn't admit that it is also a bit of a tourist trap, and full of Game of Thrones merchandise. But as fans of the series, we were okay with that, and didn't feel it took away from the history of the Old Town. If anything, it just added to it, making it a really cool and unique place to visit. Wander around and imagine all the different things this town has seen in its lifetime. It's also a great place to stop for a coffee and watch the hustle and bustle of locals and tourists along the main promenade.
Living the Mediterranean dream, having a coffee al fresco on the main street through Dubrovnik. Got some coffee and cake.
So we've been trying to find a place for a coffee and cake for a little while. There's loads of places to choose from. Obviously it's really touristy here, so it's going to be expensive. But it's been the most surreal experience. We just wanted a coffee and a cake, and we sat down and inquired as to whether they did coffee or cake, and the waiter just brought out 2 coffees and 2 pieces of cake, guessing what we wanted, which, you know, we didn't want this coffee and cake. So I just said, no, can I have the other cake that's in there? Had to wait a while, and then they just brought the bill out, which is 156, which, you know, is obviously going to be quite high for coffee and cake, but it's what you expect to pay when you're a place like this. So for that reason, I definitely wanted to choose my own piece of cake. Thankfully, he switched it for one that I actually wanted. And it looks pretty good. I wanted the one with berries. So yeah. It's a quirky way of doing things. Just guess what you want and place it in front of you. That's good. Much needed. That was an interesting coffee experience. I knew from looking online that the prices obviously would be really high in the old town, so that's completely fair enough. But I did kind of think that it being so touristy, that the service would be really good. But yeah, it took a long time to serve us, and then the waiter just came over, assumed what we wanted, and put a piece of cake and coffee down. In that time, we saw another couple sit down at a table, wait for a long time to be served, and eventually they gave up and just walked away. So yeah, it's a bit of a strange one. Sorry to sound negative, but it's this is our experience today.
Dubrovnik Old Town is known as one of the world's finest and most perfectly preserved medieval cities in the world. For centuries, Dubrovnik rivaled Venice as a trading port. Here, at the end of the Stradum, you'll find yourself in Lutzer Square, where you can't miss the landmark 31-metre bell tower and clock. And if you happen to be in the area when the clock chimes, you'll definitely know about that too. The tower was damaged in the earthquake of 1667. In order to prevent the collapse, the old bell tower was rebuilt in 1929, and the original figures of Zelensky were replaced by their copies. The originals are now exhibited at the Rector's Palace. The tower is adjacent from Sponza Palace, which was built between 1516 and 1522, and is one of the few buildings in the Old Town to have survived the earthquake of 1667. As you walk along the marble streets, history and architectural lovers will be spoilt for choice. There are several palaces, churches, monasteries and monuments to visit. But if that doesn't excite you, there's also many bars and restaurants, built into the beautiful architecture for you to relax your own way. If a busy town isn't your idea of a nice spot for coffee or lunch, then you can head to one of the many places on the harbour front, offering refreshments with a sea view. There's even a couple of secret bars hidden through holes in the walls that allow visitors to swim in the sea, but we'll get to that soon.
So we're just across from the church. The main religion here in Dubrovnik is Roman Catholic. And I just noticed behind me, you might notice, there is some authentic 16th century looking washing hanging up. It's very authentic. I'm surprised they're allowed to hang their washing up, like from the window here, but there we go.
Thank you.
So we just stopped to get a smoothie on the way around because it's super hot today. It's 27 degrees according to my Apple Watch, even though it's meant to be a little bit shady today, but found a little shaded spot and I've gone for an Immuno Boost, large, because I'm going to share it with Craig, and yeah, get loads of fruit in me, should be good.
For any Game of Thrones fans watching, you might recognise this Jesuit Staricase. The staircase doubles as the Great Scepter Baler in King's Landing, and is the setting of Cersei's infamous Walk of Shame. It's one of the most recognisable Game of Thrones filming locations in Dubrovnik.
Come up a few steps and gone into the sort of upper part of the old town, and it's much more peaceful and quiet up here. All the crowds are down there where all the restaurants are, which is really nice, and there are so many extra pretty streets. There's more apartments up here that are like Airbnbs and accommodation, and lots of attention to detail and lots of flowers around everywhere, making it look really, really picturesque. But the only thing I would say, the one negative, is it smells like pee up here. I'm not sure if that's because there's like 16th century drainage or whether it's because there's a lot of cats around and they're peeing quite a lot, but it's still beautiful up here. Be thankful that you can see it and not smell it. And we're just outside the museum, which is really nice. It doesn't actually smell too bad right here outside the museum, by the way, just along the streets there, but So nice to have some shade and some peace and quiet and some cool air. You can also pay to do a walk around the circumference of the castle wall, which we might do another day, but it's so hot today and we want to get ourselves over to Buzabar, so we'll see you there.
This man is actually carrying a washing machine on his back up these stairs, and I hope for his sake Giorgio is home.
Yeah, he sounds angry. Giorgio's not answering.
Yeah. Come on, Giorgio. Answer the door. Poor boy. That does not look easy at all. Dubrovnik's got such a delightful Mediterranean or Adriatic feel to it, and we've done enough walking now around these narrow old streets, and we're now going to go and do something that hopefully we've heard involves cooling down, because I'm melting.
Yeah.
I think Kirsty's melting.
It's taken us longer than we would care to admit to find this place, and we realised it's actually near to where we were stood earlier. So we've kind of looped around a labyrinth of streets and come back on ourselves. Hopefully, we are almost at the bar with the views.
It is warm today, so looking forward to cooling off.
Getting to either one of the two hidden bars in the Old Town is, as the name suggests, quite difficult because they're hidden through a hole in the wall that you have to find and walk through. For this reason, both the bars are called Buza, which directly translates to hole. This one is actually Buza 2 and is a popular spot for those that enjoy cliff jumping into the sea, and also those that enjoy a cool drink whilst being entertained by others cliff jumping into the sea.
This is the beauty of Buzabar. You come through the Old Town wall and you can just jump in and take a dip, and the bar's just up there.
Take the ground to the high ground. Oh, they're going crazy in the sand.
That was so nice and refreshing. Highly recommend, if you come to Buzabar, go down to the seafront and take a dip in the sea. To be honest, in getting dressed, I'm now hot again. I need to get back in the water. But no, it's really nice. Time to head up and get a drink. Buzabar, such an awesome little spot. Just this hole in the wall, in the Old Town wall that you go through, and it's just like an oasis down there. It's been such a nice day wandering around the ancient streets of Dubrovnik Old Town, but we've got one more place to show you, and it's got fantastic views.
Yeah. The morning in the Old Town, the afternoon swimming in the Adriatic Sea at Buza, and then the evening sunset looking out across it all.
So we're heading out of the Old Town through Buza Gate, which I believe is on the east end of the Old Town, the harbour end of the town. We're going to be jumping on another form of transport and heading up.
As you head to the edge of the Old Town, the views looking back are so picturesque, with boats coming and going in the harbour, and cruise ships too. The surrounding lush green islands add another level to this already beautiful scene, extending out across the Adriatic Sea. It's easy to see why Dubrovnik Old Town is dubbed the Pearl of the Adriatic.
sky.
To end the day, we thought we would get the cable car up, and I mean, what can you say about these views? That's Dubrovnik right behind us.
Got the old town directly behind us, and then you've got the Adriatic Sea over there, which we've been swimming in all day today and yesterday.
Amazing. So we're up here in time for sunset, and we're just going to grab a table over here and have some dinner.
And it's 90 kuna per person to come up one way on the cable car. You can walk up or down if you feel like it along a zigzag path, but we are pretty tired out today, so we went for a round trip, so we're going to get the cable car back down as well. So to do that, it's 170 kuna for a round trip per person, per adult.
It's nice and cool up here as well,
so nice.
After melting all day down in the old town.
But to get to the entrance of the cable car, it's only like a 10-minute walk from the outside of the old town, so it's not too bad.
And at the top here, you can rent out these buggies. An adventure for another day. Highly recommend coming up to this viewpoint. It's stunning.
Enjoy. Amazing way to end the day. Up here with the views over Dubrovnik with some mango cocktails and dinner on its way. It's not bad. And the service up here is lovely. The staff are so nice and friendly. It's good. Dinner looks amazing. It's gone a bit chilly up here, but luckily they give me blankets so we can kind of keep ourselves warm. But yeah, I'm excited to tuck into my vegetable risotto, and Craig's got chicken rustico.
Really looking forward to this. We kind of skipped lunch today, and we had a bit of a liquid lunch because we jumped in the sea at Boozer Bar, and then I had a Coke. Lunch never really happened, so really looking forward to this. And also, hopefully we can just have dinner in time before the sun goes down so that we can catch the sunset, get a time lapse on it.
This was the perfect itinerary for exploring Dubrovnik Old Town, starting off by wandering around and getting involved in the hustle and bustle of the streets, before cooling off with a swim and drink at Boozer Bar, and finally heading up to enjoy an evening sunset, overlooking this beautiful and unique spot. After our first day exploring, we can't wait to see what else this country has to offer. Thanks for watching, and as always, if you enjoyed the video, please give it a thumbs up. Join us next time as we head out on a boat to explore Dubrovnik's 3 Elaphite islands and swim in the crystal clear blue caves. For daily updates on our travels, head over to our Instagram at TiredNotTravellers, or for exclusive behind the scenes content, we'd love you to join us on Patreon. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.
Go.
Hello, so we are here outside
Sorry, the camera was 3, 2, 1, go.
Hello, so we are here outside the old town walls in Dubrovnik. It's a 16th century old town, and in recent years it's become famous because it's the scene for King's Landing in the popular TV series Game of Thrones. So today we're standing outside Peel Gate. There are 3 gates in total around the walls, and we're going to go inside. So follow me, I'll show you around. Hello, we're here today outside the old town of Dubrovnik. Hello, so we are here today outside the old town walls in Dubrovnik. It's a 16th century old town, and it's become famous in recent years due to being the set of the popular TV series Game of Thrones. And It has become popular in recent years because it's the setting of King's Landing in Dubrovnik's Old Town has been on the list of UNESCO. What was I going to say? For those of you that are die-hard Game of Thrones fans, you can do an actual tour here where they show you around all the sites where the scenes were filmed.
Did you like that coming up the stairs technique?
I was a little bit worried you were going to upskirt me.
It went something like this. I got low and went...
Yeah, it wasn't freaky much.
Isn't it great fun though, freaking your wife out?
Such a freak.
Anyway, enough of me freaking people out. Look at this view.
Cool. Show kitties.
Oh, it's Cat Wars. We timed that well. Cat Wars on the streets of Dubrovnik. We bring you the best entertainment.
Cat fight! Savage. But they're so cute still.
Look at all the rest of them. They're all like, fight, 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 fight. This one's coming to check out as well.
Oh, I don't know, meowing.
It's definitely being put in its place.